Hey everyone, this is Dawn and welcome back to my channel. I really want to keep this video on the fun, crafty side, but I did want to stop and acknowledge and say that I hope everyone is doing well, or as well as can be expected in these really unprecedented times. We are doing okay, staying as safe as possible. Our whole family is still working and maintaining their safeness, and my kids, especially my son, works with the public. He actually works in a grocery store, so he is staying safe as possible. We are kind of keeping our distance from the grandparents, and so that we're not sharing anything that shouldn't be as well. But nobody is sick, everybody's healthy, so knock wood, and I hope and pray. I know it is just unprecedented, crazy tough times, and especially economically. I will share, I actually did get a job. I haven't worked since December 23rd, and I was receiving unemployment benefits. That actually runs out right as my job picks up, so I've been doing some training at home. So that's a little bit of a life update. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into this brag book. Maggie Holmes. Maggie Holmes is all about the fun. So I have really enjoyed doing this collaboration with Brandy, who is Left-Handed Crafter, and Carla, who is Unique Whimsy. Definitely check out both of their channels. Really wonderful, great ladies, and I enjoy them so much and enjoy crafting along with them. So this week we are doing a brag book, Maggie Holmes inspired. So I decided to use Chasing Dreams that I have used, I think, for the most part in this little booklet, and maybe a little bit of Bloom. So for the base of this, I have this die, so scalloped dies. I've got this from Lawn Fawn a very long time ago, and the one I used, I thought I had the largest one, but it was the second size down, which is basically an A2 size card. So the dimensions of this are 5.5 by 4.25, and I die cut those scalloped rectangles, a front and a back to make a page. So for the cover, or actually for the whole book, I should say, I did bind it with a little, these little rings, and I had some larger ones, but I actually ended up using this smaller size that I had, so it worked really great. And I did just use some lace that I tied off. I was going to add more fluff to it and add other ribbons and things, but I wanted it to be able to turn okay. I might actually cut these shorter, and then I was actually thinking about adding some gold eyelash trim, but I already had some over here on the corner, so I didn't really want it to compete with that. And I layered up this cover as much as I could. I have chipboard. So Maggie Holmes, the Chasing Dreams, I did have the chipboard, which is, I just love this girl image, and this is a chipboard, and the bird, I did use some of this gold leaf detail in the back I got from Hobby Lobby. There's some of this blush colored cheesecloth in the back from Hobby Lobby as well, and well, I guess the eyelash trim is also Hobby Lobby, which is, I think it's their Yarn Bee. That's where I get my eyelash trim. I get a lot of questions sometimes about the eyelash trim and where I get it. I did use some mint, what do you call this? Crepe paper. I do not have a love of crepe paper. I don't work with it well, but I did just kind of make some folds just to give some dimension in the back. So you don't see it a lot, but it's there. And then I used, I think, some of these florals from the Bloom collection. So I tried to keep it mostly Chasing Dreams, but there is a little bit of Bloom. And then I've added some sequins as well. So I really love the layers of the cover, and I wanted to keep it happy. And so then turning on to the next, and I really kept it as simple as possible. So this can be a brag book. You can add your pictures into it. So here I also have Chasing Dreams, some journaling cards, and so I think that's a Bloom ephemera. And then this here, I left this where it can be like a little tuck spot, so you can add anything into there. I love that image. And then here, the blue florals, actually the florals themselves, I have a hard time covering up. So I just did a little sticker on this one that says Think Happy. And this next page here has these sweet little birdies. I love that. So I actually did not add any embellishment to this page, but I love this journaling card. And of course it went with the peach. So I added some florals, added a little enamel dot here, your tweet. And then here, this ephemera is from Bloom, and that can hold, it's holding a journaling card at the moment. I've added a little die cut butterfly, actually with one of my punches. I think that's an older Martha Stewart punch. Added a sequin, and of course the birdies, I love them. And then turning the page, oh, I really did not want to cover up this floral. I just added a little chipboard flag with another yellow enamel dot. Love this, pretty as a picture. Chipboard butterfly, added a few sequins. This was actually really, really simple to make. This was almost going to be my cover, but I love this journaling card. Dreams are for chasing. I've added a little bit of lace, a butterfly, enamel dot, and a little leaf to give as much layering as I could, but keeping it as flat as I could. And then this here is a little ticket. So this one here again is a tuck spot as well. And I did layer up a floral and a leaf piece from the ephemera. The next page here, again, another floral that I really did not want to cover up, but I loved this black and white butterfly. And then I made a little pocket from this piece. You are altogether lovely. And then these were tickets again from the ephemera, and I have Maggie Holmes sticker book, so I just added that sticker there. This sticker, Life Collected, added a little floral piece, and these can tuck right into that pocket. And I did add a little leaf on there to do a little more layering. And then here, oh my goodness, I love that bold stripe on this sweet blue print. So just added a little butterfly, keeping it simple. And then I made this a tuck spot as well. And then on the back, I love that paper, but I saw this, I got this at Hobby Lobby probably a long time ago. It was just sitting on one of my tables, and I decided to put that heart on the back cover. It's a little bit shabby, and I thought that that would work well with the Maggie Holmes. So that is my brag book share for this week. So next week, we have kind of went through all of the little embellishments and projects that we're doing so far. So next week we are gonna turn our attention towards an altered book and still doing the Maggie Holmes theme. So I had actually started creating this book that I was going to share as a brag book this week, and I am going to leave a link of the video I saw that I just loved, and it was from scrapbook.com, and it's actually Maggie Holmes herself that did the tutorial. So I did find this smaller green book at a thrift store. It was actually a Hispanic yoga book. I just loved it, and my favorite color is green. I love a green book cover, and this is a smaller book. The size is 8 by 5. So on the spine I have layered up this lace and burlap. Well, actually it came this way, I didn't layer it. It's a lace and burlap lace. I think that came from Michael's. And then I've used one of the Tim Holtz where you can add your little dangle to it. So it's like a brad with a hook. I always forget the name of what those are. I've added a little cheesecloth in the top, and really my book block had come loose from the binding, so I was able to get that added in there easily. I did add some of the Maggie Holmes tassels. So my cover here is this peacock page, and I think it is absolutely gorgeous, and I have used glitter glue on it. I layered 2 pieces of paper to give as much detail as I could. So there are 2 pages layered up here, and I did offset them, and this does kind of offset off of the cover. And then, and I might later on cut that off because it's feeling a little flimsy, but I like the way it looks. I added a little cheesecloth coming out of there too. And it's not too flimsy, but just over time, I might end up cutting that off. I don't know, but I liked it overhanging. I liked the look of it. And then I have layered up some tulle with this florals, some enamel dots. There's a chipboard, Living the Life I Always Dreamed, and that floral sticker. So I wanted to get as much layering as I could. And then with the peacock on the front, I was looking for a peacock charm to go with these Maggie Holmes tassels. Well, some time ago at Hobby Lobby, I had purchased a decorative candle, which was, it had like a little peacock theme on it. And this charm actually came from that Hobby Lobby candle, and it was like the coolest thing. So I was like, how perfect. It's a little bit heavy, but it is like the perfect thing. So that is what is hanging. I didn't want anything to be too long here, and I just used one of those little hook bulb pins. Is that what they're called? Next week I'm going to take us through getting started to make the altered book this way. I just love this. So I've decorated it a little bit. I did not much, but I've got a library pocket here. I did add some washi tape because I did have to glue this back together to get the spine back in there. So I covered that up with some washi. I've got a little detail. I've got a Maggie Holmes stamp here. I actually love this aged paper, so I decided to embrace it and leave it. And here I've just got another Maggie Holmes stamp. All right, so the way this book is, this altered book is made, generally I don't like this messiness showing. Normally when I rip my pages to make an altered book, I have a page and I rip out all my pages on the inside, and then my next page I sandwich them in and pretend that like these are actual book pages, not the scrapbook paper. And then I would cover that book page with scrapbook paper. But all of the messiness would be inside of my pages, so you wouldn't see it. Well, this is a much more organic type of altered book, and I love it. So all my pages are ripped here, so you actually see them. And then these next pages, you can see it a little better here. I ripped these longer because you can see these are ripped in really close, and then these are ripped longer. So it's about 5 pages here where I attached my piece of scrapbook, one on the scrapbook paper, one on the front, and one on the back. Since this book is smaller, it's a little bit harder for me to turn these pages, so I'm going to do this with a larger book. But I loved this. So it's got, you see the ripped edges, and then you've got these 5 pages with your scrapbook paper on the front and the back, these ripped pages with your scrapbook paper on the front and the back, ripped scrapbook paper on those 5 front and back, and so forth and so on. And so I have only decorated this front page so far. This was originally going to be my brag book, but now I think it's just going to be an altered book, and then I'll end up decorating it. And again, I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the back here, but I'm going to embrace the age of the back of these. So I have been, a while back, I had found these at, I don't know, Goodwill. I think one of them came from Goodwill, another one from the thrift store, but I do love a green cover, and this one is a lot heavier, but I love that these are more of a square size. You can use any book, and since we're going to be ripping into it, make sure you have a book that you don't mind, something from the Dollar Tree or something from a thrift store. So this is not quite 7.5 inches by, oh, it's about 9 inches. So this is a much more square shape. So, ooh, look at the green of this. And I think this had to do, Yes You Can, it's called. I think this is a financial book. Yes You Can. Achieve Financial Independence. When is this from? 1994. This book is dedicated to all of you who are determined to become financially independent. It's a little tougher in these days with all the work. Oh my goodness, I might have to save some of these pages for junk journaling. But anyways, this is a nice squarer book, and I think this will be a really nice book to alter this way. And then I also have this one. This one's a little bit lighter. This one could be good too. This is the front. I think this is an old child development. Your child at play, 2 to 3 years. So this one here, let's see, what is the dimensions of this one? It's roughly about the same. This one is about 9 1/4 by about 7 1/4. So one of these two I'm going to go ahead and use, and it doesn't, I like these particularly because they are wider, but maybe you just want a standard. You can use anything. So when we get started next week, I'm just going to take us through the process of ripping out the pages. I'll probably go ahead and pick out my papers. I'm not sure which collection I'll use, or maybe we'll just mix and match some of all of it. However, I really haven't used Sunny Days either, but I just love it all. We'll probably end up mixing and matching. So anyways, that is my brag book for this week. Definitely go over and check out Brandy and Carla's channel. Of course, they are just listed in the description box below. If you are not familiar, please go over and subscribe. Check out their projects this week. I know that Carla has been using a lot of book page in her projects, and I'm just loving them. And I think a lot of the things she has made are going to be embellishments in her altered book. And then Brandy, she is just a wonderful crafter, and I never know what Brandy is going to make, and I love it. And I think a time or two we've even used like the same kind of products. So how cool. All right, well, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching. Definitely prayers for everybody. I want to thank you. I want to send a big thanks to my new subscribers, and also to thank you for all of you that have been around. So I appreciate you all so much. Be well, and until next time.